Welcome back to the Slanted Attic Experience. I'm your host, Tyler, and this is episode 61. Courtney is back in the attic, and I've got to say, this one delivered on every level. We open with the Eagles, Boston's Masshole culture, Tom Brady, and the monetization of children's sports before getting into NIL and ad revenue in college athletics. Then the hypotheticals kick in and things get interesting fast. How quickly could you spend $6 million? Is teleportation actually the greatest superpower? And are all billionaires ugly? We get into plastic surgery, anti-aging trends, social credit scores, and data collection before the conversation shifts into something deeper. AI's growing role in the legal field, the resource demands of data centers, how chatbots are quietly killing critical thinking, and why billionaires are more disconnected from everyday life than ever. Courtney is a civil rights attorney, a Harvard Law grad, diehard Eagles fan, and the owner of a perfect cat named Charlotte Binky Paws, and she brings it from start to finish. Let's dive right into it. I always
Love
get
that.
different reactions about that first time on the Discord. But yeah, I mean, this week, welcoming back Courtney, number one podcast, sitting for I think 48 weeks times two, because I only release them every other week. So 96 weeks almost, give or take, at the top spot. Which was shortly after dethroned by Rob. Fantastic podcast.
We're going to talk about that, and we're actually going to talk about that. Yeah, Rob.
Out there.
We're going to have a conversation.
Oh man, but
you're first, if not first, you're last. So you know what? I'll start with that.
That's right. But yeah, pleasure to welcome back Courtney. A lot has happened since the last time we chatted. I think it was like 30 or 40 episodes ish ago, plus what I have in the bank, still waiting to go out. But man, we'll see Courtney in a few weeks. Looking forward to getting after that. But yeah, big Philadelphia fan. I know Boston must be in a ruckus right about now. What are your thoughts on the end of the football season? What's going on with you guys?
So, as you know, go Birds. And to the fans at home who don't know, my partner, Dr. Nick Patel, smoking hot dentist.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's Dr. Patel, actually, DMD. He is also an Eagles fan, a devout one, and probably more so than I am, although, you know, I've got that Philly roots in me. I mean, look, the season was something. It surely was an adjective. Watching the Philadelphia Eagles do what they were doing, whatever that was. I think frustration, a lot of frustration. I mean, I'm sure Grace was at her wit's end. I was in conversation with her while all those things were going down. And I've said this a bunch throughout the fall, where it's like, if the Eagles team, if the players on the Eagles were bad players, if the Eagles were a bad team and they played poorly, I would not be this frustrated, because like fork found in kitchen. However, you're going to look me in my goddamn eye and tell me a Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, like Smitty, that offense, you have that offense, all of them like world-class caliber players in and of their own right, cannot for the life of them play fucking football. Like, pardon me? That's crazy. And like, that was what's frustrating, is like, you have this insanely talented team who just like cannot connect. And again, like, people are gonna blame KP and like blame, I mean, look to any reason to blame people. And I think Jalen Hurts and actually, frankly, all of those players get a absolutely absurd level of criticism that is completely undeserved, which we can get to. But like, I think that was really the frustration of it, was like, you guys should do so well. Yes. You should be doing so well, and your defense is playing so well. Not a lot actually changed between this season and last season, and yet like, it just did not connect. And for whatever reason that was, I mean, I'm a Phillies or an Eagles fan by like birth, and less because I actually care about football. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, just insanely frustrating. I do
Yep.
feel slightly liberated now that it's done. Like there was just a couple games watching where I like felt genuinely sick to my stomach, and afterwards like felt bad enough that I was like, maybe this isn't healthy. Like I actually this does not affect my day-to-day life. I do not live in Philadelphia anymore. Like
Right.
this actually has zero bearing on my existence in any way, shape, or form. Like maybe we need to chill. Like I shouldn't feel nauseous after watching a sporting
Football
event.
game. Right.
Yeah, that's silly. This is like you're being grow up. You're being ridiculous.
So I've talked to lots of Eagles fans, lots of football fans in
Mhm.
general. General consensus seems to be if the coaching staff were different, that's an NFC championship level team, if not a Super Bowl contender. They should be sitting in dynasty mode. Of course, you had a few changes throughout the offseason. You had a couple guys get hurt that were key
Yeah, I
players,
mean,
of
I
course.
think
That
like
happens to everybody.
yeah,
So,
the offensive line, like having the injuries on the offensive line, like I think Cam Jurgens was injured,
yes.
had a back injury the whole time. Lane Johnson, like they all had injuries
Yep.
basically the whole season and either were playing but probably had like a questionably legal amount of horse tranquilizer in their body, like keeping them on the field, or
Oh,
like could not play. And so, I mean, yeah, if you like looking back onto last season, so much of I wouldn't say so much of their success, but like Saquon Barkley obviously had that like insane season running, like their run game was so good. But to have that, you have to have like a successful line blocking and allowing him like
yeah.
to find holes. And if you don't have people who are actually going to block, then like those holes don't exist. And yeah, Saquon Barkley gets like absolutely shot on
Yep.
-1 yards for the first three, and then suddenly they're punting again. Like I think that definitely, I'm sure had something to say, like something to do with whatever happened. But
Yep. Yep. The Patullo haters, and people that are more knowledgeable about football than I, have seen like tape and stuff like that, tell me that Patullo would run basically high school level offenses. And you only have like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith running 3 or 4 different routes. At that point, you're playing against professionals. They're going to figure your shit out, especially towards the end of the season. And
yeah,
you should have success against a San Francisco team that's beat up. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Eagles is, in my opinion, had a shot to the NFC Championship. Then you match up with probably the Rams or the
No,
Seahawks, much
exactly.
tougher game. Go from there.
I
But
like would they have made it to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I mean, I also say this like
probably,
again, like I'm not a football fanatic by any means. So much of like my knowledge is just secondhand hearsay that has come from Nick, which frankly makes me look super cool in conversations, but I am just like
well,
sputtering,
yeah,
um, like
it's
repeated
legit.
things that are probably
I mean,
slightly wrong.
you're not saying things that are false. I mean, I'll
And
agree
that's
with
all
you.
that matters. And that's actually all that matters is do I sound good? Um, But yeah, I mean, I think the stuff with Kevin Patullo, I feel really bad. I struggle with this. Like, I'll be so upset, and then I'm like, wait a minute, like, what if his feelings are kind of hurt? And
He's
like,
making 500 grand a
well,
year, $1 million a
exactly.
year.
And
He'll
then,
be all
Nick will be like, well, he's got like millions of dollars. So like even if he's crying in his mansion, and like you don't have to feel that bad.
right.
But
Yes, exactly.
I feel like there was a level, like, I mean, people were like egging his house and stuff like that. And I think that's a bit like, again, there's an element of like him, people are dying, like to it all. And it is a game, and it's a game that has major financial implications and like major political implications and social,
Hmm.
etc., because it's so deeply woven into our like social fabric. But like
Absolutely.
nonetheless, egging this man's house like is a bit of a level of like, okay guys, like again, maybe we get a hobby, like like okay. And maybe
I think Philly
egging his house
might
is
be the only fan base that would do that.
I mean, probably. And I say this as a psycho Philly fan. Like I'm up there. I again, I I ride or die for the Eagles, go Birds. But there were like some elements throughout the season where I was like, guys, like maybe we're being just like a little bit too mean to him. So I'm working on that. I'm working on squashing the empathy in 2026, leading with hate, if you will. So don't worry, that's a work in
Great,
progress.
great resolution. Hell yeah.
It's getting worse and getting meaner, I think, are my resolution.
So speaking about mean people, I watched the Pat McAfee show today. If you're familiar with that, it's a show on ESPN. Bunch of ex-football guys that have like a podcast and they're on there.
Tyler, I have friends. I don't watch that.
Um,
I have a life.
they
I don't know.
call the Patriots fans the Massholes. Can we
Yes.
explain what's going on in that city? Like, it must be erupting
Um,
after 2 shit seasons. You're back in the Super Bowl. Like, what the hell is this about?
Tyler, I'm just gonna start with I'm tired. All right. I live here against my will, except that I did choose to go to law school here and move here, and that is a decision that was made. However, I'm held here against my will. And the Masshole term is used, I would say, pretty ubiquitously beyond just the sports fans.
Just that show.
It's literally it's just like the general gist is like mass holes, like, oh, they're a mass hole. I think is the proper usage of the term. I think Boston is similar to Philly in the vibes of like people aren't nice but they're kind energy,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, of like your neighbors are going to show up and help you, but you are going to be cussed out and like flipped off. And I mean, being here in a potential return to greatness for the Pats is going to send me into psychosis, if we're being honest. I really
Yeah.
thought I had gotten the last helicopter out of Vietnam when I moved here in 2019. I was like, wow, sucks to suck. Birds just beat y'all in the Super Bowl. I'm here now. Like everybody, yeah, like gird your loins. And to have them now coming back into success, I will say I haven't been outside since they won because there are 2 feet of snow on the ground, so I have not talked to a
Understandable.
native yet. Um, I am friends with a number of the guys who work at my gym, some of whom are Pats fans, all of whom know I am a diehard Eagles fan. I am sure I will have to deal with it tomorrow when I arrive. Um, that being said, I'm a redhead and a middle child. You cannot hurt me. So I will persevere. I will overcome. I just, ugh, it's annoying. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed.
I'm
That's all
sure.
there is to it. So, say la vie, I guess.
Take it
I
with
wish,
what you will.
yeah.
It's just all of these other NFL teams have been going through this constant turnover cycle for years and years and years. And then, I mean, literally Brady, the downfall, and then getting rid of Brady, getting rid of Belichick, hiring a coach in between, and then immediate success. It's so frustrating as a fan of any other
I
team.
want to know what Etsy witch they hired and what's
Yes.
her number and what's her rate. Because
Yeah, I
I
need some of
have
that.
a couple requests, if we're being honest. Um, and I'll also say that, I mean, I'll say a lot. I'll also say this though, like, I think a lot of my like vitriol towards the Patriots, what the fuck? To the Patriots,
Patriot.
excuse me, excuse me. Maybe that's how I'll pronounce it from now on and just act like I'm not hearing the difference.
That would piss a lot
Patriots,
of
I'm
fans off.
literally saying that. I don't know what is wrong.
That
I'm
would kind of be funny.
saying that'll be my new bit. I think my like yeah, my vitriol towards the Pats, I think was towards specifically Belichick and Tom Brady. I find both of them to just be like incredibly off-putting and unsettling creatures. Um, Tom Brady in large part, I just like the way and I mean this is all conversation, like the way that incredibly successful and like unique to their field men treat their spouses and families is like it is endemic. And you constantly see, and I think this is something that for me, like this is where really like I struggle with Brady is like you constantly have these successful male athletes or what have you who have devoted their entire lives to their craft be it football or like what's the free solo guy, Alex, whatever the
Yeah,
hell his name is, um, like rock climbing, etc., to the detriment of their families. And yet, we sing their praises. I mean, they're like Grady's labeled the goat, which is like frankly, like what a horrible animal to be named after. Like that's crazy. The goat, okay. Have you seen their eyeballs? No, absurd. They're literally
goats
squares.
are
They're
kind of gross.
genuinely terrifying. But like what is the cost of that? And I think Brady is such a classic example where for decades, he's obvious, like he's a good player. Like he has all these Super Bowls, etc. I guess, whatever. And he's got all of this incredible material success, top of his field, whatever. And he's alone. I don't know, maybe he's got a girlfriend who's probably much younger than him, like Belichick, but like
Right.
his wife left him because he would not give them like the time or energy. And like I think this is
Mhm.
such a constant trend of, again, like behind every great man is an even greater woman. And like I think there's just something, I don't know, it's like it's such a classic tale and story of men who achieve greatness at the expense of their families. And I think that like for
Right.
me, I mean, I'm getting deeply off topic, but I think that for me was something that like I really struggled with Brady. And then also he just kind of looks like a Ken doll that like has a lot of Botox in a way that I
I
just
was gonna
find
say definitely plastic surgery.
so, yeah. I mean, like he Ken doll, emphasis on the plastic, and like it really unsettles my core. Um, and
Yeah.
so, and I find his lack of affectation, excuse me, to be something he needs to work on with a PR agent. You have too much money to speak that poorly.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, he's broadcasting on Fox now. One thing I will say, it's like a lot of these guys are just they're being told yes their entire lives because
oh
they're the
yeah,
next best thing, right? It's like you are treating like what do you think's going to happen when you treat them for 28, 30 years then you never get a no, right? Like,
yeah,
of course, these guys are going to feel entitled to do whatever they want at the expense of other people. And that's not even in just athletics. That's like, I feel like a lot of people that achieve high roles in society have stepped on others to get there. Not
oh,
everybody, I'm
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely some people that get there legitimately, but especially all these fucking CEOs like the BlackRock and Blackstone and everybody
Oh well,
involved with, yeah, all of that
they're committing
shit
war
going
crimes. So
on.
yeah,
Those guys are whack. You know,
yeah.
they're crazy.
And
I
I
don't
think
know.
again, like this isn't to say like two things can be true at once, which is to say that like he is a phenomenal football player, and I think a lot of
Right.
these like people are phenomenal at their craft. They're good at what they do, but they're good at what they do because they have the time and space and money and energy to devote to being good at that. And that comes because of the behind the scene labor of having other people in your life who are willing to take on the burden of the day-to-day life and minutia of like existing. Like Tom Brady probably doesn't do it. He doesn't have to do his laundry and like,
Right.
he's not, I don't know, like watching his children. Like there, I don't know. I'm probably using him as like a scapegoat for a much goat. Um
There it is.
got him. For I think just like a larger issue, but I think I just like, oh, there's just something about him that I just find so off-putting.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of like his broadcasts on Fox. I was
I
never
will
a fan.
say,
He's a little
yeah,
weird. He just I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like he'll just say something. I'm like, dude, like it would just be so much better if you didn't say that in front of a
yeah.
live
Well,
audience of like
I think again
30
to your
million
point,
people or whatever.
yeah, to your point, like when you're really successful and sort of kind of good looking and that he's like an athletic white man who
Right.
came up in the early aughts, like he never had to develop a personality. He he could say like anything and people were
Literally.
probably like foaming at the mouth for him. So it's not like he's had to develop any level of charisma or like people skills. But
Right.
I don't know, maybe I'm being too mean to Tom Brady. And Tom Brady actually is the greatest victim here. So I actually think we need to be nicer to Tom Brady. So that's my
I
bad.
can't
Sorry, Tom.
I can't think that Tom's that great of a person. Sorry, Tom, again, but I mean, just saying it how it is, thinking of all the things that have happened in his life.
Oh,
I don't
surely not. Yeah.
fantastic athlete again, and I think it's important to put an emphasis on that. And when we do learn about things, we were kind of talking about something along a similar vein when you guys were here and we watched that movie. I forget the name of it, but
Oh, one
like,
battle after another.
yes, like when you're serving up the dish that he's the best, uh, potentially the best NFL player of all time, it should be a but or a because, and like all of these things that happen. Like people need to understand that like it comes at the expense of other things. You can't just like work at football every single day for 24 hours a day and become like Tom Brady. You
Yeah.
need like as you said, the support system around you, the financial success. Like you need the opportunity, even like if you're not in an area that has like youth, what is it, they call it, the AAU, or like travel sports programs. I mean, those markets are insane. Like the kids have to be, especially soccer is a great example. The kids
Oh my
have to be
God.
like
Yeah. The
playing
travel
for like
soccer, like,
pro, oh yeah, for a professional, like for a professional sub team at like the age of 6. Like if you're
yeah.
not in there by like 6 or 7 years old, like you have no shot at making like a team, which is
Yeah.
wild.
In 20 years, which is a crazy, the like commodification and of children's sports is absurd to me. Just, I mean, like, I was in every like child t-ball, soccer league, etc., constantly played every sport, was not good at hardly any of them, however was forced to be there, but like at least I got to have fun. Like,
Yep.
yeah, that's an absurd element of it all. And
Oh, it's wild. It's
but
wild. Like, I've told this before on the podcast, so I'll keep it brief. But when I played travel baseball when I was younger, I played travel baseball, I think travel basketball for a year. I think that's it. But my dad and like a bunch of the other dads in the area were like sussing out a bunch of like teams to go with, because a bunch of these guys had like franchises and you could buy or like be a part of the team and use specific facilities. They had deals set up, and they charged like a yearly rate. And for sake of for argument's sake, I'll just go with like it was like 5 grand a year per kid,
yeah, something crazy. Yeah, yeah,
something ridiculous. And all the dads in our little town were like, hell no, we're not paying 5 grand a kid. Like they did a little research, found out these tournament fees were like what, $1,000 a pop. We could do like
yeah,
8 of
yeah,
them for half the cost,
yep,
because there's so
yep,
many kids on the team. So they created our own travel team, and our budget was like $1,000 a year per kid. And then we did fundraising activities
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
did all that. But just the cost of being in those sports at such a young age, I mean, that's another financial stressor that eats at people. Like, are
Yeah.
you going to keep your kid competitive if he wants to go play a sport in college? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
let me
For a
just
lot,
crush my child's dreams at day one, but also like college is really expensive. So if I put the money up now, maybe they'll get a scholarship and then, they get to go to college for free, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like it's very much a hamster wheel of it all. And like again, the odds of being successful too are like so, so slim. I mean, I do not understand
so
statistics
small.
odds, but like I know they're small.
People
Like
don't
it's
understand. Like
yeah.
there's hundreds of thousands of high school athletes, and there's like hundreds of professional jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, barely, if that. Like it's the
Right.
odds are slim, but I guess good for Tom Brady or like whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. The current college scheme is just outrageous with the money they're paying players. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
getting ESPN notifications that kids are signing $6 million contracts for 1 year in college football.
Yeah. And those are the one situations though where I'm like, you know what? Get your bag, honey. Get your bag.
Oh, oh,
You
I
know what?
agree. It's just the way
Like,
the NCAA is going about it is absolutely wrong. Like
oh, it's
they're
crazy.
totally
Yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah,
up.
yeah.
It's
It's
ruining the system is the
yeah.
problem. I have no hard feelings against those
Yeah, no, no,
kids. Get your money.
the athletes are
You
not the
deserve it.
yeah, the issue here at all or even
Right.
really like in the wrong, I think. But it's and I struggle with it too because I'm just like, you know what? It's important that people have like hobbies and things that they like. and like things to look at and watch and be entertained by. That is a part of the human condition. But also like it's so much money that is put towards it in a way that is incomprehensible, and like there's so much suffering and the way, and again, like this isn't something that like individuals and the normal person could do. Like it is a structural element that is a byproduct
Yes.
of a much larger structural failure, but like it is hard to stomach sometimes hearing how much money these people are making. And granted, again, the players are not the ones that I take like any issue with, and they're all suffering greatly physically for the cost of playing football. Like they're paying their pound of flesh and stuff with the CTE, etc. And like, but it isn't like you hear about these contracts and it's like, oh, okay. Sure, $50 million. Yeah, that's so reasonable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sweet, great, love it.
Soccer and the NBA are even crazier. It's like 70, 80, 100 million.
Oh, I can't even
It's
think about
it's
that. I can't even count
it's
that
absurd.
high.
It's absurd. It's all because of advertisers. I mean, ads
Yeah,
ruined everything. That's what they're getting paid from. It's all ad space. That's all it is. I mean, and then they have to revenue share. So that was what kind of transitioned the entire structural being of the NCAA name image likeness, the NIL, and the transfer portal. Some kid took it to court and was like, I want revenue sharing. I want the school to be able to pay me directly because they're making ad revenue off of my
oh,
likeness. And
yeah.
boom,
Like,
courts
which,
rolled with him. And so now the schools can pay the players directly, which has caused a whole ton of issues because you have like booster programs for like Texas and like
yeah.
Alabama and like all these huge schools, like just like, all right, here's an oil billionaire. Like, let me
Yeah,
just
like
throw 70 million at the
I
program. You know
really,
what I mean?
I really want Bama to win this year. Like I'm gonna
Right.
throw, like, yeah, it is there. It's just, it feels icky. It feels really icky, but also the players should definitely get paid and get their like compensation and their due. But also, it still feels really weird that it's like happening at educational institutions, that the goal should be education. But
Well, yeah. Have you seen these kids? I mean, Stetson Bennett for in the national championship. He's 26. They asked him like a question about like going to class or whatever. He's like, I'm already graduated. I'm like, bro, you're a grad student. Like, how are you enrolled? You have to be enrolled in school to be playing fucking football. Like,
justice for grad students eligibility. Justice for grad students.
I'm like, dude, like these kids don't even get a degree anymore. I mean, what do you think they're
Yeah,
doing when they transfer 5 times in 5 years?
yeah, yeah. But you know what? They don't need one because they've got $6 million. I don't know. I don't know how far 6 million goes these days. But
I mean, you could theoretically you can make 6 million last a very long time.
yeah,
Just
it's
like
a lot more money
once
than
you
I'll see
taste
in my life. So presumably you can really make do with 6 million.
once you taste it, I feel like, people with no financial structure, I mean, you literally blink and it's gone. I mean, you
Yeah.
could spend $6 million very quickly, but you could also
I
make it
think I
last.
could.
You don't think you could spend 6 million that
Okay, do
fast?
you know what my ideal, I win the lottery. I win the
Yep.
lottery. You know what I'm doing? Okay, I'm paying my mortgage because I really like my
Yeah,
house. But I like my house.
of
I
course.
just moved here. You think I'm gonna move out again? Okay, done. I'm probably gonna get a new car. I really want a Subaru. I'm gonna get a Subaru.
There you go.
Second. And third, I'm gonna get a mansion. I'm gonna fill it with cats and books. And then people get to come into my mansion and they get to have coffee and food and they get to see my cats, hundreds of them ideally. And the payment to being there and experiencing my cats is they get to, or they have to, again, payment, tell me their favorite book, TV show, or movie. I get to give them 3 books and then they have to read the books and tell me what they think. And that's the payment. That's what I do. Presumably, it's going to
I think
cost a decent amount of money, but I don't think I could burn through 6 million that fast.
I think that's reasonable, but I think I give you like 2 or 3 years. You buy the house. What about the upkeep? Something that comes along with being a mansion owner. Obviously, are you looking after all 100 of those cats? We talked about
Damn
Tom Brady
straight I
not doing
am.
his laundry.
What do you think I'm gonna spend my time doing?
All right, so then that rules
You
out a
have I'm
second
gonna get
source
a
of
shit
income.
ton of litter genies, so I only have to do that. Of my 50 litter genies, that's every 2 weeks. All right,
There you
there's
go.
an hour, once per day. I'm gonna have automatic feeders, duh. Stupid. So I'm not gonna have to do that. They're gonna have water fountains. Maybe I'll have one person who comes by and helps me with the laundry. All right, I appreciate that.
There you go.
Get a cleaning person come by like once a
Cleaning
month, once a
person,
week.
landscaping.
What do you mean landscaping? I'll be in a city.
Oh, in the
Need
city?
landscaping.
Okay.
I'll be inside my mansion. What do I need to see the outdoors for?
Okay,
And then
okay.
I'll
I
come home
wasn't
to
sure
my
if
house.
this consisted of a long sprawling hills and a
No, no,
very
no, no.
long driveway leading
Mind you,
into
I'll
an
be in
very
Somerville,
ornate gate.
Massachusetts. No, I'll be in Somerville.
Ah,
I'm not giving up my apartment. I just moved here. I like my apartment. Maybe I'll redo the bathroom. We need to redo the bathroom. So that's what
there
I
you
do.
go. Spend
Part of the
$6
6 mil.
million on the
Yeah,
bathroom.
yeah, yeah. It's pink right now, and I like the pink. However, it is a little bit grody. So, but
Ah, I can't wait to be a homeowner.
it's it's I I feel like I'm such a fraud. Um, because it A happened really like kismetly, and B like I did so little. Like Nick really drove this boat. Um, that being said, I do get to be like, oh my condo. Nick gets really mad when I call it an apartment. He's like, we own it's a condo, and I'm like, I literally don't care.
Condominium.
Yeah, my condominium. No, it's my apartment. But I am on the deed, so can't get rid of me
Oh,
that
yeah.
easy. Crazy.
We love that. It is nice being a renter in terms of like when you got to fix something, but
Well, yeah, I
everything's
mean,
modular.
this with 2 feet of snow out there, well, I had to go out and shovel it. So that, or else I'd get a fine from the city of Somerville. So you gotta like do the upkeep. And Nick was so nervous that our pipes were gonna freeze and burst. And like that would suck if in a place you rented, but like I don't really know what to do in that situation. I couldn't like call someone, but
Call
I
plumber.
would
I
call
mean,
my dad.
that's
I would call my dad
that's
is
your option.
what I would do in
Yeah,
that
I'm
situation.
sure he would know exactly what to do.
Oh, he
I
would be
forgot.
here. Yeah, he would teleport here and fix it. Kev Senior.
Imagine if we had teleportation. That's something I
Um,
often kind of think about.
it'd be
Like,
my
what if I
ideal
could just
power.
yeah,
If I have power, I'm picking teleportation. That'd be gas.
teleportation.
Just think
Teleportation would
how
be awesome.
much time you waste like driving places and stuff. Boop, boop, at work, done. Like, boop, at the gym, done. I just think that'd be sick. And I could see
That
whomever
would
everybody
save.
whenever I wanted.
You wouldn't necessarily have to be like a superhero because I think it's just obscure
True.
enough that it's not like you need to be out saving people, but it would
No,
say you could so productive, so
it'd
much
be so
productivity.
efficient. It would be so efficient. And like, oh my God, like, what are you doing tonight? Like, oh, I don't know. I want to go see Tyler and Grace. I'll be on the pod. Boop, I'm in the pod room. Like,
That's right.
surprise. Like, that'd be so fun. Oh God. Why we put a man on the moon? Why haven't we gotten there yet?
The global elitists are hoarding it all for themselves with the
Ugh,
Neuralink chips.
oh my God. Just why I just keep I don't need AI. I just want teleportation. Okay. I don't need like the weird whatever biological modification stuff, whatever Elon Musk is doing, and freak. I don't want a Cybertruck. Just make teleportation.
The
Just
only
don't
defense I'll say
fast.
in that circumstance is the Neuralink chips are supposed to help with brain function for people who are like paraplegics. So I'm
That's good.
hoping that gets some medical use. But
That's
outside of
good.
that, like it does
Yeah.
seem weirdly dystopian and like mind control-y a little
Yeah, I
bit.
mean, like my trust in the like ethical use of this is non-existent.
Almost
Like,
zero.
no, this is gonna be used in incredibly nefarious and perverse ways. Even if it could have a positive impact, I doubt it will. So really, really pumped about it.
Yep. Yep. And I think it surfaced a while ago. Bruce and I talked about it in like episode 3 of the podcast. And it's been radio silent since then. That's a little suspect.
Oh yeah, like good news is no news is good news, bad news, whatever. Yeah. I don't feel good about anything that's coming out of tech billionaires. Full stop. I don't trust them
Yep.
even remotely. There's no such thing as an ethical billionaire. And by the
Yeah.
way, they're all really ugly. So have you considered that?
Jeff Bezos looked like he got a facelift though. He's looking jacked.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Like, riddle me this. Riddle me this. You have more money than God, and you look like that.
I agree.
That's insulting. That's insulting. You
I
have
mean,
so
what
much money, and that's the best you can do.
what is it? Chris Jenner? Have we seen that?
Oh, I got the didn't she like she got well, her facelift was incredible. Her facelift was incredible.
Yes.
And then I think
Yes.
it fell,
Yes. Yes.
which all things that go up must come down. So alas, but I don't know. The plastic surgery stuff really freaks me out. That I think is like a genuine horror that is being put upon society. And I really struggle with like plastic surgery and like filler and the conversations around those things as someone like I go really back and forth between people should have the autonomy to do what they want with their bodies, and like there is something like liberating in that. And frankly, as someone who loves boobies, who am I to stop others from getting more boobies? Like you know, but at the same time, like it is creating such an uncanny valley like aesthetic that is completely unattainable for most people. It also looks atrocious. I mean, like, but that's besides the point. And like solidifying these norms and standards around aging and like what it
Yes.
means to look like a person and what it means to be beautiful. That is, again, it's a class indicator. Like it in order to be able to afford to look to in you need to have a lot of money to afford the upkeep of having plastic surgery and filler and Botox and all of these different things in a way that makes it very conspicuous what your class is, while also like not having to say anything. Well, that's what conspicuous means, I guess, is like, but there's just something about it that feels so, I struggle with from like an ethical perspective of like
Yeah.
where I fall on things. And I really oscillate back and forth on the matter. And I think I'm at a point though where I've kind of come down on the like, I really don't think this is good for society. I think the like
Hmm.
choice feminism of the 2012s, like Obama era, I've lost my faith in society a bit. And like I think we're also seeing this, absolutely horrific rise in skinniness and the skinny aesthetic and the desire for thinness in such a way that is, walking lockstep with, I think, plastic surgery and Botox and all of these anti-aging wellness aesthetics that like, which, at the end of the day, it's all eugenics. So
Hmm.
it all comes back to eugenics at the end of the day. But I mean, sorry, this is such a
No, no,
roundabout
no. No, no,
rabbit
no.
hole.
I totally agree with you. What I was going to say is like, you know, ancient times, date back the clocks like a couple thousand years. If you were fat or old, people respected the fuck out of you because you either had enough wealth to eat enough or you were old and wise and people would look to you for things, right? Advice or wisdom or whatever it may be. And I think we're living in such a weird time where people are idolizing and praising anti-aging. Like I feel like part of the human experience is learning and accepting that like you don't have forever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and everybody
But I
learns
think
at a
I think
different
that is a I
pace.
think that is an element of the human experience that is fleeting and that is
Yes.
currently at risk. And to go back to the whole tech
Agree.
billionaires at all, like there is this major anti-humanism element that is or belief system that's permeating, I think, the tech sphere and like the upper echelons of society of this like deeply anti biological human, like I'm gonna live forever I'm gonna like use technology to expand my life cycle forever, etc. But like
Right.
in a way that means aging is obsolete to a certain extent.
Right.
And like again, I mean, again, it's a class indicator. Like these people have the wealth to be able to defeat the one thing that all humans have to go through, the one experience. We're all born and we all die. And like what's the last frontier but death? And so there's such a narcissism to it, and a
Mhm.
like unfettered like greed to wanting to conquer death that is just, again, it's so disturbing and off-putting, and like just really, I don't know, I don't I'm rambling here, but like
No, I agree with everything you're saying. It's gross.
yeah,
I mean, it's
it's
weird
it's
and
really
and
gross.
and people put it on a pedestal. Like these are people that people look to for things. And those are not the people we should be looking at. Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, these people, like Peter Thiel is a great example.
Oh
Palantir, I don't know if you're
God.
familiar with
Oh
all
my
that shit. They have
God.
everything on us. They know what time we wake up, what we
Yeah,
browse
yeah,
on Instagram. They know what we like to eat, like what is our routine, where we work, what we're doing. So if anything happens ever, bam, they know all of your weaknesses according to
yeah,
like
yeah,
online structure, and they have you on all the CCTV, like your face identified. They take us in and they took fingerprints for like government clearance or something I had to
yeah,
get for a
yeah.
project. So now they have that in the database.
Yeah, they have
So like,
everything on everyone
yes.
in a way that is like, and again, I mean, when we're seeing people being snatched off the streets, and the rule of law, which has frankly always been a bit of a farce, and only used to protect the elites, but like we're seeing it even more further dissolve. Like it's terrifying. I don't know. Like I
Yeah,
feel like that's such a weak
100%.
word and a diluted word for it. And like I've been doxxed. Like it's kind of an absurd experience. And like yeah, the amount of I never really took my technological, that's not a word, like my online footprint, digital footprint, privacy stuff that seriously. And then yeah, I got doxxed this summer, and like for advocating for Palestine, and like granted, as far as doxing goes, mine was pretty chill.
Mhm.
Like they didn't have any like data that's not immediately findable online, i.e., like my workplace and a link to my Instagram that was already private. But
Right.
like it made me realize, I was like, oh, like actually, when you give it a single moment of thought, and especially someone like who is a civil rights attorney, like maybe I should take data privacy really seriously. And like it made me, I think, face that at a level that I like had dealt with. I mean, like, I again, like I'm a civil rights attorney. I'm have take my privacy pretty seriously, but I think
Yeah.
that was definitely something that I was like, oh no, we're Fort Knoxing
Oh
everything at
yeah.
this point. Like we're getting the VPNs, we're getting the password like protectors so that I can remember my 20 word like
Yep.
line passwords, etc. And yeah, I don't think people realize, or frankly, I don't think people care. I think a lot of people don't really give a shit about
Hmm.
how much data about themselves is like known by other people and the ways it's used so perniciously. But it
Yeah.
really is terrifying. And again, we see it happening. Like I don't know if you saw, but like Ring, the doorbell, the Ring
Yes, I
cameras,
did.
like they're being used by ICE. Like it's all of this technology, all of this surveillance is always going to come back to harm like members of society who are the most at risk and the most marginalized. And like, the more data someone has on, like the state has on you, like if you are a trans person who like wants to transition and they have all of the information on you, like well, that's not really good. All this to say, I think like we are living in a moment, I think, where people I don't know if how to say this, like I don't think people realize how horrifying it is, the amount of surveillance that's happening
It's yeah.
day to
Oh yeah.
day, ways in which it's going to really come back, I think, and bite people in the ass.
1,000,000%. No, I totally agree with you. Lot of points on that. But I wanted to follow up with with another question. I've seen this online. Do you think this is kind of the start of an implementation of a social credit score? They just had everybody, I believe in India, it was like a global passport thing, and now they're starting to log everybody into one singular data system. I forget how it's all tied together. I watched some stupid Instagram video on Palantir, but like India's doing it, UK has started to do it. Like this could be the rollout of something like that. And I mean, that's horrifying. I don't even know any words to use that are worse than that because this is
Yeah.
gross. I don't know what to do. You know, like you said, as an individual, what can we do other than to kind of like, I don't know, talk about it, I guess, make sure people are aware. I mean, it's not like, I don't know. And I also do have the VPN. I have Proton Mail, if you've heard of that. It's Swiss
Yeah.
based, open
Yeah. Yeah.
source. Fuck, what's his face, Microsoft or Google. Like, I'm not using any of their email platforms. Like,
Yeah.
I'm out of it.
Yeah. I actually I'd like heard of the social
They have it in
um
China, I believe.
credit
Like,
score. I don't
it's an
know enough
existing
honestly,
system.
like I don't know a lot about it or like what the practical reality of it would be, but like I think something like just in terms of digital privacy, data privacy, privacy in general, like it means that if you like try to exercise like your First Amendment right or have any type of like speech or anything that the government doesn't like or uh, doesn't feel good about, like we know they're tracking these things, and like that could mean that the FBI comes to your door. Like that's happened to folks before for like things that they've said online, and like it just means that like you're good. I don't know. I feel like I'm like fear mongering and kind of like going on a. I've kind of lost my train of thought of it all. So
But I mean,
yeah.
I believe the same thing. It's scary. I don't know how to feel about it because it's an overwhelming sense of like, we talked about this in the mate episode without kind of a path forward. He called it the personal trainer method, I think. Like
Mm,
how am I supposed to know what to do? All I know is
mm.
that um, big business is is consolidating all of this information on us to use in some nefarious way. I mean, I hope not, but
I mean, if
odds are
history's
against
told
me.
us anything, it is almost certainly nefarious. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And like what can I do about it? I'm taking steps to what I think
Yeah.
is a more safer, more effective route, but how can I know that that's true? And this company's
Yeah.
also not turning around and selling my data back to Verizon that
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
leaks all the time and has known to be in collusion with big other businesses. And so I don't know. So it's hard to know what to do without a roadmap. Obviously, there are people that are talking about it, but like you said, like I don't know. I feel like people with too much information are, I don't know. Something happens to them, yeah.
Yeah, I think like, and I think in the larger context of the political moment that we're in, like it's really hard to not feel really overwhelmed and
Yes.
unsure about paths forward and like what to do. And I mean, the nice thing is like there are people whose lives are focused on this and like advocating for things like data privacy, excuse me, and like navigating these things. And so I don't know, leaning into their expertise is something that I think I've in these moments I'm like, okay, like who is it that I trust or that I follow, or like who are the lawyers or the advocates and the organizers whose work I think is really exemplar that I can then turn to and follow in these moments. I don't know.
Sure.
I
No,
really,
absolutely.
yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, it's all about picking out good mentors and understanding kind of
Yeah.
like it's back to whatever we were talking about, like the Tom Brady discussion before. Like, is he a good mentor? I mean, if you only want to be good at football, then maybe sure. But if you want expertise in anything else, he's probably not your guy. And like
Yeah.
understanding who to turn to, and like we were chatting before we got here. It's okay to ask people for help. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it's
But
increasingly
I think,
become, I don't know, less and less. I feel like
yeah.
people don't know their neighbors anymore. Like,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think the way something I've been thinking about a lot in light of, the current occupation of Minneapolis or like Minnesota and just like the like horror that is happening there and frankly across the country, like from the federal government is like, and something that I've heard from organizers and people who have really been deeply rooted in this work is like one of the ways to respond in these moments is to build community with others. And like, I'm really fortunate. There's a very strong apparatus of like mutual aid in the areas that I live in that I'm a part of during the snowstorm. Like there was a whole group chat of individuals who were like out there shoveling for neighbors that like I like got to be part of. And it's these smaller moments of connection that it feels really like it feels kind of inadequate. It feels like it's not very impactful, but like I think there is something to be said about when you know your neighbors, you're building community, and when you're in community, you're building, I think, resistance and like the ability to respond in a moment's notice where, if something happens, if you have a neighbor who's being targeted by ICE or like has been taken or harmed in which is the case again across the country, like having that community to respond in a moment's notice, I think goes a really long way and is really powerful and like creates a network of response that is a way I think of we need to be responding to these things.
It builds trust between community members.
Hmm.
You want to lean on somebody else, um, and you can't always do everything yourself.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten really far away from that community aspect. Some of me thinks social media has a large part to do with it. Maybe, I feel differently after the whole COVID pandemic, coming back out, kind of trying to reacclimate into society. Has that kind of just like this haze that hasn't worn off? Like, it's probably a culmination of all of these things that are just negatively impacting the human being, um, like tribal experience, community aspect, like hunter gatherers and like even, Native American tribes,
I
30,
mean,
40
I
members,
think like
like it wasn't a
I
huge
think
amount of people.
yeah, but I think there's like I don't necessarily think that's true. Like I think social media, I definitely like I think there's something to be said about like the negative aspects of social media, of which there are aplenty. But I also think like, and again, seeing in this exact moment, like with everything that's happening with ICE, with everything that's happening in Minnesota, like one of the ways people are connecting and are getting information is via social media and is through things like Discords and Slacks and Signal channels and like the ability to like I found out about the mutual aid networks in my area through Instagram and like
Right.
maybe if it weren't for Instagram there'd be other networks where that information was discovered, but like I think that like we are really quick as a society to blame social media for all of the failings of that we're witnessing, and I don't think that it is certainly to blame for many problems, but I also think like I hesitate to just use it as this kind of like panacea, or that's not the right word, but like this
End all be
complete
all.
excuse. Yeah, the end all be
Right.
all of social woes. Because I do think
Yeah.
there's something to be said about like the ways in which it's allowing for connection and movement organizing that I think is really powerful.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that sentiment. I mean, I'm not arguing that at all. I just think like the beginning aspects of social media, I think, just changed the way humans interact with each other and our
Mm.
viewpoints in society. Like, so
Oh,
many of
so
these things we're seeing are like these small clips of kids driving in a Lamborghini and crashing into something. They rented it and bought out insurance, so their ass is covered when they get back to the garage or whatever. But it's kind of this instant dopamine release. And I think that's kind of what's been more impactful than, I think information sharing is fantastic. It allows, independent journalism to kind of thrive, but you have to be able to access all of those resources, which I think sometimes on some of these platforms is sometimes difficult.
yeah, yeah.
But
And
no,
I
I
taking
totally agree with that.
there's also definitely, so I was plugging my computer in, like certainly like censorship happening on these platforms and like other really negative, for lack of a better term, my brain is blanking, like things that are happening that are again really like hurting the fabric of our society. But I again, like all things, go back and forth on this quite frequently around my emotions and feelings towards the internet and in like things like Instagram and TikTok. And like, yeah, to your point, the instant dopamine hit, like what is that doing to our brains and attention spans? Probably not great things. But I think I'm also like it's you're coming to me on a very specific day at a very specific moment, where I think we're also seeing the ways in which social media is a mechanism of like truth sharing and accountability. In that, when you're seeing, because someone got a video and then posted online of like the murder of Renee Good, for example,
Right, they
or
can't scrub that in
that's
30
there and it's
seconds from
proliferated,
independent
yeah,
videos.
and it's
Yeah,
spread,
right.
and now the whole country knows about this. And whether or not people, I don't know, believe it's fake or like whatever, it's there. And I think that like we're in a really intense, that's not like, we're in a horrible political moment that is, or and cultural moment in all of these different things. And I also, and social media definitely has played certain parts and a role in that, in like misinformation spreading and allowing misinformation and hate to proliferate. But also at the same time, I think like all things, it's also a tool that can be used for good, and like it is being used for good in certain ways. And so yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
it
didn't have an
is kinda
eloquent way to end that thought.
it's kinda like everything else, if
Yeah.
the problem is being able to use these things in moderation because, again, like, there are a lot of good things if you have a good feed. Like, I think my Instagram feed's pretty good. I get a lot of the sports updates I want, I get news, and then and I'm seeing kinda what my friends are up to, and that's kinda
Mm.
it, I'm not seeing a whole lot of other stuff than that. But I think it's all about discipline and self-discipline, honestly. Like, I think if I don't know, if you're a person that can I'm struggling with what to say. Like, I think it's always been a problem of like self-discipline, honestly. Like, people just on there too much and then that consumes their entire day. Like, it's okay to use in moderation, but you just shouldn't be on there all day. You should be
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
integrating with society, doing normal
Yeah.
things. Does that
I
make
and
sense?
I definitely hear that. And I also think like I really hesitate, I think, to place, not blame, so to speak, but to like place initiative, I guess is kind of the word that's coming to mind, on the individual in a lot of these situations, because I really do think like a lot of like people are on social media or on their phones for what have you, because just like that's the systems in which we live.
Yeah.
And like we have a failing media and news system, and that is like, being bought out by billionaires and fascists. And so like getting your news maybe actually is going to be more effective by getting it from someone who's boots on the ground, making a TikTok about it. And like that's, I think, where I why sometimes people are online. And obviously like that's not everyone. People, some people are spending 12 hours a day watching just like stupid like Subway Surfer videos. Okay, great. I love that for you. But I also think like the world is so expensive. Like we don't have third spaces in the same way that we used to. And
Yeah.
like
Great point.
it's really, really expensive to live in general. And like I think it's 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 easy to say discipline, but I also think a lot of it, and yeah, that's certainly true. Like I'm out here, my screen time is crazy, and that is my own fault. 100%. Like I do not need to be on TikTok for as much as I am, for as long as I am. But like I also think the more productive conversation maybe is not necessarily talking about the individual's interactions with social media, but rather like what has forced us into using social media to the extent that people are.
Yeah, great question. Do you think it has something to do with what's the word, suppressing the population, more in ways in like, single family household or single family income doesn't exist anymore. Both parents have to work, multiple jobs, you're barely making ends meet. You don't have time to think about politics or finances or what have you. Does that maybe it's like just another piece of information for information overload so people don't have as much free time to kind of critical think about important, societal issues maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think like people are exhausted. I mean, like to your point, it's so expensive to live in the world that we live in. Like
It's ridiculous.
most like people have to work endlessly, and that barely helps and barely works. And then also, you come home and you have to like take care of your family and probably work more. I'm rambling a bit, but like I think people don't have the luxury of free time in the same way. Like the a lot of individuals don't have the luxury of free time and don't have the luxury of and privilege of like downtime in the same way. And I think like again, like our phones can fill in the cracks when we do have those moments. Um,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
absolutely. Makes perfect sense. I mean, what are you doing when you're sitting down on the bus on your morning commute or
Mhm.
drinking your coffee in the morning when you're getting ready for the day? These are all not micro transactions, but these little micro things that take up,
Yeah, moments. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that
that
like
take
add
up,
up and stuff.
right.
Yeah. Well, I'm
I don't
reading
know.
on my Kindle app is what I'm doing.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
I'm reading.
perfect
I'm reading.
transition.
Do you
Love,
like that one?
love that. Oh my God, that was fantastic. Well, that's something I literally had to talk to you about because obviously, for all of our listeners out there that made it this far, we're probably like an hour into it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yapping.
Courtney's book reading is spectacular.
Oh,
Big
thank
reader.
you. I would use
Every
the
time,
term psychotic.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, I
Unwell.
need to read more books than read Reddit. That's my issue.
Okay,
Need
okay.
to get more on the Kindle app. I've limited my Instagram, like the video reel usage pretty significantly, but I spend way too much time on Reddit. I just love reading about
Facts.
people's drama and what's
You
going
know what?
on.
I love gossip. I love a little tale. I love a little story. I think it's why I listen to the amount of podcasts I do, why I watch or like why I read so much. I love a story. So I will say like I cannot fault you for being on Reddit and reading drama. Like I do live for that to a certain extent.
It's so good. It's so
It's
good. And
so
some people are talented writers too. You can tell. Sometimes you get some stuff that's like really well written and that engages me.
and you know what? Again, it's important to have hobbies.
Yes.
Specifically
Full
that.
circle, full circle. All
Yeah.
right, tell me about your year in review. What you got for this year? Maybe some highlights, high level
Okay.
highlights.
Oh my God, let me like pull my Goodreads up so I really have a
Oh,
an
hell yeah.
accurate list to refer to.
Love,
So I mean,
love
I'll
it.
start by saying like I reading is like it's one of my biggest hobbies. And I'm really fortunate that it's always been, I think, a major hobby of mine. I grew up reading, and my mom is a huge reader, and I think that was something that always like really brought us together, and something that she really encouraged for me. And it was always something that I think my parents were like, we're happy this is happening. They were less
Right.
happy when I was reading at like, dinner table and family events, but I do think they gave up at a certain point and were like, well, she's here. But we'll take it. But yeah, I read 140 books this year in 2025.
That's wild.
20 less. I did 160 in 2024. So big
Damn.
letdown. Yeah. I'm on the decline. I
Not
peaked,
achieving
man.
those pro numbers. Man.
You know? Yeah. And I'll say this too. Like I think I read all fiction. I read exclusively fiction. My job is to read nonfiction. Like being a lawyer, at least the way that I am a lawyer, is reading and writing. And like that's what a lot of it is. And so like I spend my day reading cases and reading articles and theory and like all sorts of things where it's like I'm not gonna go home and then read nonfiction.
Right.
I don't need to do that. And I don't need to learn more. So I read exclusively fiction and I read primarily like fantasy and sci-fi. I think I just like again, I read nonfiction at work. I tend to read very sad things for my job doing LGBTQ civil rights law. That is
Right.
really horrific in a lot of ways. And so I think there is an escapism to be had in a lot of what I'm reading to and again, a lot of these books are about like horrific empire and oppression and colonialism and things that are very,
Right.
very relevant to the moment we're in and the world we live in. But it's a way, I think, of processing those things within a contained and slightly distant environment that I think helps me process like our day to day. And it's real damn entertaining. Um, I
Love
read a
it.
lot of fan fiction, as your listeners know.
That's right.
I love of romance. I love a rom-com. I'll read just about anything except for nonfiction. Again.
That makes me think, like, is it because I guess I've just matured over the years that all of these books I'm reading now feel like they apply to current society? I mean, I
Mm,
read Animal Farm in 1984
mhm,
within like the last year and a half. Obviously, 1984, that was my first time reading it. But Animal Farm we had read back in like 7th grade. I'm like, I
mhm.
understand the concept, but maybe I just didn't understand the political scheme at the time because of whatever was going on. I was young, but now I feel like a lot of these books they pull things from like, and I'm like, I
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
I mean
see that.
it's all rooted in like the world we live in. I think all of these authors would probably say that. And like again, I think people really like to shit on fiction. I think people really like to shit on like fiction that is written by and for women in particular. But like it's a way, again, I think of processing the things that are happening, and dealing with it in a confined environment. And also like yeah, I think there's like people really love to shit on things that women like in general. And but like we know that reading fiction builds empathy in people and like it allows you to see perspectives that are different than your own or lives that are different than your own, worlds, etc. Even if they're like fake worlds and fantasy worlds and stuff. Like there's I think I don't know, like I think it's such an escape, but I also think like it's really such a good education tool to like allow yourself to just be a more empathetic person and all of these things. I don't know, maybe I'm just making up excuses for like how much smut I read and making
No,
it sound very intellectual
I
when
I
in
think it
reality I'm just reading fan fiction.
I think it allows you to kind of expand your mind too. Like you're thinking
Yeah,
about all these
yeah,
different things that you may not think is possible, but in this realm of the book, these totally exist, and it kind of breaks
yeah.
that box structure that kind of we're all confined in. It's like once you start learning what's outside of that and kind of can conceptualize these, I don't want to call them ideologies, but like these things throughout books that like
They're just
may or may
worlds that
not be
are
things.
different. Yeah,
Yes, things you can carry
yeah,
with you, and I think it's so impactful. I mean, I love fantasy books.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
by far my favorite. I love
I
the
love a
magic
little
system.
story. Yeah. What's it just and also like it's fun. Sue me. Like it's entertaining. Like God forbid I won some whimsy. Like
Right.
yeah, I'd be fucking
Exactly.
sick if we had magic. Okay.
Oh, I think about that all the time. When I was younger and I read the Harry Potter books 56 times or however many
Mhm.
times the hell I read them. I always skipped the fourth book. I never liked the fourth book. I didn't like when
Same.
Cedric died, the whole climax of like Voldemort coming back. I was like, fuck out of here with that evil. Like, just get me to the next part. But
Which is more evil.
right, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to see the transition. Just like,
That's
let me
fair.
just
That's
get
fair.
to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And um, I always have thought about, man, it would be so cool if my letter showed up in the mail tomorrow, and
That'd be
I would
gas.
still do that.
It'd be
I'd
gas.
be like, let's go. I'm off.
I like I mean, I'm also like I believed in Santa Claus way too late. Like I was
Me too.
straight up in middle school, like you never know. You never know. How do you think those toys got there? Which like my Kevin, my younger brother, almost certainly like knew before I did and was like, I guess we're just not gonna tell her. Like I don't know. I love a little whimsy. I love a little magic.
Right.
I love a little story. But yeah, no, so all this to say, I read a lot. I love to read. My favorite thing recently has been like giving book recommendations. Like having someone give me their like three favorite TV shows or movies or even books and like curating a reading list for them or like finding a book based on those things for them. I like love that.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You're like,
need to
okay,
find some new stuff. I need to find some new
well,
stuff. I'm reading The
call
Martian
me.
right now. Halfway through that, and my library online rental expired, so then somebody else rented it out. But I'm getting it back. Got to finish
Okay,
that,
perfect.
and
Perfect.
then yes, great. It's actually great so far. The movie I thought was good, but the book is way better. I mean, usually the case, but I also
I've
started
never read that.
reading. I started reading. It's the fifth book in the Aragon series. The guy released it this
Oh
past year.
yeah. Is it good?
Murtaugh.
I haven't
Yeah,
read it yet.
it's so good.
I
I'm like 40% through it.
loved loved the Aragon series growing up. I think that was like one of my first like major fantasy series that I read and like just yeah, I think to your point like loved it. I think it was like it was so immersive. I read it like as an adult too. I like read it the summer before I went to law school and like totally held up. I was like, wow, no,
Yes,
this like fully holds up. I
100%.
wanted to read the fifth book and it like kind of forgot about it. But all right,
It's
if it's
good.
as good as you say, I'll add that to the
It
list.
it brought me back. I mean, it felt like the
Yeah,
same. It felt like the same
yeah.
storyline, although it's been like 5 or 6 years since
It's
was
been
it
like
Brissinger
ages.
came out? Was that the last
I
one
mean,
or
five.
Inheritance?
It's been longer than that. It's definitely
Longer
been like a
than that.
decade. Yeah.
But no, that book series brought my dad and I's love for reading together. Him and I read that.
Oh,
That's our all-time favorite series.
I
Him
love
and I
that.
both loved it. My favorite thing is the magic system, the way that everything
Yeah.
has like a true name and you can manipulate it through that. I think, like we said earlier, there's a lot of meaning, I think, to that in life, right? Everything has a purpose. It's how you use it, type of deal.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No good, no evil, just areas of gray, 50 shades even if you will.
haven't read that. I don't
I
know
have
if I
not
should. I don't
either.
know if I'd
I
love
have
it.
also not. I don't believe in sex before marriage. I I don't like that. That's really icky. Um, I don't read anything sexual. That's like not my thing at
Of
all.
course.
Just kidding. That was deeply sarcastic. Sorry.
I understood.
No, good. Okay. I wasn't wondering. I just wasn't sure if you could tell. So, just in case the fans were wondering at home,
Right. If they haven't listened to our
if we need
first,
to go through the Omega verse again, like just
right.
let me know. So happy
Yes.
to go back over that.
That's right. That's right. Episode 17, if you haven't heard it already and you've
Yeah,
listened
yeah.
this
If
far,
you're
you
like
cannot
really
miss it.
interested in learning and expanding your mind and, like just really touching deeply inside with your sexuality and understanding of the world, I highly recommend you learn about the Omega verse.
The Omegaverse. Episode 17.
Episode 17, episode 17. Yeah, yeah.
Get the buzzwords in there. Got to get what is it? The
Yeah,
search
yeah.
engine
Oh no,
optimization
exactly,
keywords, baby.
exactly.
Get so that can bring us to our next topic of conversation. I'll let you go do your dinner plans with Dr. Patel. Um,
He's not even home yet.
oh,
Crazy.
all right. Well, then we got
Crazy.
a little bit of time. So this was brought up generally earlier on in the conversation, and I know we had talked about it before we hopped on here, but artificial intelligence, the legal world, how is that impacting you guys? I cannot imagine it's on a small scale. I mean, it's got to be
So
somewhat.
yeah, kind of. I think definitely total in terms of legal stuff, it does not come up in my day-to-day life at all. which is both a personal choice, but also like the way my organization has a policy that's like, don't do that shit. Um,
Yeah,
it's like informal policy, I guess I would say, but like
sure. I
we,
like it.
it's yeah, like you're really not supposed to be using that for the most part, which I think is like 100% the accurate and correct, not accurate, excuse me, the correct approach. But it's
Yep.
certainly like having a huge, I mean, I think AI is ubiquitous everywhere. I think it's like it's completely infiltrating every sphere of our lives, whether we want it to or not, whether we consent to it or not. And like it's easy enough to avoid right now as a lawyer. Like there's certainly similar to like Google and all of these other major tech platforms, like there's things are like integrated into it. So in the law, there's two major like legal search engines, Lexis and then Westlaw. And both of them, if I'm pretty sure, definitely have like AI elements integrated into them. But you like don't have to chat GBT it or anything. And I
Wait,
also think it's like,
can I pause you for just a quick second?
yeah.
Westlaw, is that like the Promise software? Is that what that is? I feel like I've heard that name before.
I don't
Do you know?
know.
I know it was a legal software implemented. There's a show on Netflix called The Octopus Murders, and it's about
Hmm.
this journalist that goes after questioning the guy who developed the Promise software, I believe, for a precursor to Westlaw. I think it was bought. I don't know. I was just wondering if you had any knowledge on it because
No,
I
I
don't know.
don't. I
It's
mean,
like
it's just like it's
I heard
you're like, oh,
kind of
I've heard
like
that word before.
yeah, light bulb.
No, I
You know?
sadly do not have any knowledge about that.
Damn.
But yeah, it's just like one of the major. It's like literally Google, but
Right.
for like case law and stuff. So like anytime you need to find a case or like do legal research, you use one of these search engines.
I'm
And
assuming that's not available to the general public. Like that's for
no,
y'all's
it's
use
like
only. You have a
it's a
license.
subscription. Yeah, like firms
Yeah.
get like a subscription to it. Like our organization has a subscription.
Of course,
And
everything's subscription based
yeah, of
nowadays.
course,
Of course.
literally. But I also like I think to back to the AI point, like I it really freaks me out, I think, the ways in which it's just becoming so integrated into people's lives. I think as lawyers, I'm really nervous about folks using AI. I mean, like we know it makes shit up. We know it's not true and it's not
Yeah.
accurate. And like there have been so many instances already like where like and I don't know if this is like viral for people who aren't lawyers, but like you'll hear about someone submitting a brief and it like has fake law in it, like AI just like or ChatGPT just like made up a case, and then it's like people are submitting that to a court, which is insane to me, and it feels like really like it feels like malpractice, like that feels crazy, and like
Yeah.
I think there's also major privacy concerns back to the privacy point of like as attorneys we have confidentiality requirements. We have privilege between the things that like about our clients. And like I'm sure there's ways to like put a question or put like a legal thing into AI or like have AI write something that maybe doesn't have client information in it. But also like it's certainly definitely happening where like I'm sure people are using ChatGPT in a way that like has privileged information in it or like could have privileged information into it, and like
Right.
I don't know a lot about like computers stuff and how AI works necessarily, but like when you're putting something out into a large language learning model, like that is open to the public, that is like an open AI situation, like what does that mean when it's now in like what does that mean for confidentiality? What does that mean for privilege? And
They're they're data collecting is what they're doing
no,
right now. All of
exactly,
these earlier models are just for user input. They're not going to need us to input shit anymore. It's just going to be delegating our everyday lives as like a
yeah,
schedule. I mean, they already have like these AI platforms that build out your days for you and all these things. They're using us right
it's
now. We're
crazy.
not using them.
Yeah. And
It's
I think like
crazy. Wild
it
concept.
feels very, I don't know, there's something about it that feels like unethical from a legal perspective. And then even beyond that, I just think like in terms of AI and day-to-day life, like part of me is just like everyone needs to grow the fuck up. What do you mean you can't make a grocery list? I'm sorry. What? What? You can't make a grocery list. Go to a website. Go to open a book. Like there's something, and I'm being ungenerous here, and I like and hyperbolic, but like the
It's part of
AI.
your 2026
Yeah, and you're so right. Thank you so much for bringing me back to my goals about being meaner and being worse. Um, People need to grow the fuck up. Like, you can't write an email without using AI and ChatGPT. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. And you should
it's
feel ashamed
destroying
about that. You should
it's
feel
destroying
shame
everything.
about that. Like,
Yeah, it's destroying our critical
listen,
thinking.
I am better than you because I can write a fucking email without using ChatGPT. So how about that? How about that? Like,
One
it actually blows my mind the ways in which
Yeah.
people are like falling in
Oh
and
yeah.
relying on it. And like, it's not it's not accurate. Like, it's not a search engine. It's not like that's what I think blows my mind too, is like it is not actually giving good information. It's not a good I think, okay, we live in an alternate world where tech billionaires don't exist, but tech millionaires are actually empathetic and good people. And they create this really wonderful AI tool that has the potential to like do something good. And it's not killing small towns in the South by using up all their water and destroying their air. Okay, we live in this alternate world. Like, sure, I'm sure there are instances where this could be helpful, but like the tool as it exists right now is dog shit. Is dog shit. It's
Crazy.
not being put in
And
function, and it's killing people, and it's literally
it
destroying.
is.
Like, you're okay, you can't figure out how to fucking write one email or make a grocery list, and because of that, guess what? Like, now a town in Tennessee doesn't have water, and their entire populace is dying of like really severe breathing problems because the like AI service server farm is using up all their resources. Like, I just don't understand the mental calculus that people are doing.
Yeah,
And
no,
again,
I mean
like,
that's totally true. It's happening. Like these data centers that are being built in Northern Virginia, spiking electricity costs are using up all the electricity on the grid. We don't have ways to replenish that. I mean, we're
no,
burning fossil fuels really fast to put it
yeah,
into the electrical grid. Like
yeah. It's
we're
almost as
working
if,
on
what
stuff,
if we
but
had, I don't know, like made these things that were like, oh God, what's the word for it? Like panels almost that like utilize like some like crazy resource we had, like maybe from like the sun. Like, and just like
man, that'd be
we had like
wild.
better electric systems and grids and like whatever. That'd be crazy. Uh, but like yeah, I think AI, and I'm not like a Luddite. Like, I'm not anti-tech, even if I do enjoy giving off that persona as a haggard witch in the woods. Like, but I think the ways in which it has become so rapidly prolific in our world and society terrifies me. Like, and I don't, and like you can't opt out of it in so many instances. Like,
Hmm.
I have Gmail that I have to use for like work and life, and like same I have to use Microsoft Office for work, and like I have actively tried to turn the AI tools off and like cannot figure out how to do it, which
They
maybe is
won't
me
let
being
you.
stupid, but like it's so difficult. They make it so burdensome to like avoid it. And yeah, to your point, like we're just being absolutely data farmed for all of our information. I mean, like ChatGPT or one of the AI companies lost a major lawsuit because it was stealing and using like people's writing and artistic works and books, etc., as like a training tool. And like they're already losing these lawsuits. It's just like I'm sure there's a world again that exists in some alternate reality where like AI could be a tool for good, but we unfortunately live in hell. And like I do not trust the people who are making AI to like lead us to a good place. And I think, to our conversation earlier about like all of these AI tech billionaires who are trying to conquer death and live forever, et cetera, and like build up these systems, like they have these really, there's this entire world of like anti-human AI, like tech ideology that's like basically trying to accelerate human extinction and building out like AI robots, which again sounds like a fantasy novel, sounds like a sci-fi novel, but like there are like genuinely people out there who are trying to like use AI in just such nefarious ways. And like I mean, drink every time I've said nefarious on this podcast. But like it's just it terrifies me. And like again, everyone grow up, make a
Yep.
grocery list. I'm begging of you.
What's going to happen when all of these kids that are in middle school, high school, maybe even college right now that go to chat for everything, go to Perplexity, go to Microsoft Copilot, are they going to know how to do anything if the power's
I
out
don't
for
think
one
they'll need
day or
to. The thing is, like, I don't think they'll need to because, like, again, left, right, and center, you're seeing the ways in which AI is being implemented into, like, quote unquote adult spaces, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I know people whose, like, employers are forcing AI upon them. And, like, again, even in the legal space on these platforms, like, they have AI elements to them that you can like, they do have current ones that, like, you can kind of opt into, but there's also elements to it that like I don't think you can opt out of. And to such an extent that's like, will they even need these skills? Like I because I say that all the time too. I'm like, oh my God, these kids are gonna be so screwed when they come to society. And it's like, well, society actually sucks and like is
Yeah.
also in the like absolute in the shithole. So like will they even need to know how to use these skills? And I have no idea.
That's a great
Um
point. I haven't
yeah.
even considered that, but you're totally right. Like, what if by that time, like, the world has changed in a manner enough that we don't really need to interact with other people as much? I think the increasing use of that, you're talking to ChatGPT instead of talking to a friend, asking how to ask a
Oh
girl
my,
out, or like,
the
you know,
ChatGPT psychosis stuff is like is terrifying. Like the amount of people who are
so
like having like again like psychosis from ChatGPT and like falling in love with it and having these like religious psychosis moments and all of these things is is like terrifying. And yeah, I think like what was that? I don't know what company it was that tried to put out the like AI friend thing where it was like ChatGPT friend. Um and it
oh, I'm
literally
sure
was like
there's a bunch.
yeah, but it was like an actual thing that you would like wear on you that was like like constantly listening to you and like taking in your information, would respond to you and like act as like a companion, so to speak. It was crazy. And I'm totally butchering the like background of this, but like look it up. It is foul.
That's
And
wild.
yeah, and I get it's just like it's so circular. Like we're again you have these tech billionaires who are making so much money off of AI and like these horrible elements of society, like of technology that are causing all of these social woes. And then they're also putting money into like politicians and structures that are exasperating the social woes, that are making people turn to the technology with more frequency, that is then making the tech billionaires more money, that is then allowing them to put more money into the like bad things that are happening. It's so malicious and malignant and like
Never-ending
it's
cycle.
good
Yeah,
trying.
but guess what? But guess what? Bill Gates bought 50,000 acres of trees, right? Like, he should be
Mhm.
absolved of all of his crimes. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
he
my God,
saved the environment single-handedly,
our hero,
right?
our
I'm
hero.
like I'm like, hell no. You know why he's buying the fucking trees? It's so he can offset his carbon emissions tax when he pays
Yeah, it
taxes
cost him
in
20
February
cents. It
or
cost him like
April. Right.
literally it's more expensive for me to go buy a coffee relative for him to buy like those
Right.
50 million trees. Yeah.
And
Also
that'll
like
save him
yeah, and
$2 million
they're
a
making
year in tax.
bunkers because they're like they know that they're causing the acceleration of the end of the world, and so they're gonna go live in their fucking bunkers. Like, oh my
Yes,
God.
and they all have
And
them. That's a real
I
thing.
sound like
They all have those
they
doomsday
all have
bunkers.
them. I sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, but like this is like actually true and it feels
Yes.
crazy. Where you like, oh my God. And then again, oh my God. And the thing again that just grinds my gear is like the product is also dog shit. It's not even good. It's not even
Yep.
good. Okay, you're gonna decimate the environment. You're gonna cause the absolute like eradication of our entire ecosystems, and you're causing multiple millions of people to develop horrific health problems because they live next to your server farms. Great. Okay, sure. And the thing that you're giving me is a pile of dog shit on top of all of that. Be so fucking for real.
Yep. And
Be
there
so fucking for
there
real.
there are ways to mitigate the harmfulness. They're not going to do that because it takes more time and
Well,
effort and
because it
money.
makes them more money and more, it works in their favor for things to be bad.
Right.
Like it just,
Yep.
it's horrible. Yeah. And again, like,
Yep.
like, oh my God. It just like, you have people like fucking Elon Musk driving his goddamn
Ah,
Cybertruck. Just, oh my God. Bill, he just, I can't even look at his face. It kills me. He looks like he was made
but
of Play-Doh.
but Bezos, we talk about a ripped, masculine-looking man, Jeff Bezos.
Just our king, our sweet king, our overlord. Oh my
Jeff
God.
Bezos would never do anything terrible to us.
No, he
He's
literally never. He would literally never. And I mean, like, thank God for oh God, what's the Facebook one's name?
Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah, well he looks cool now. He's got his Julius Caesar haircut and his gold chain and Tim's. So
Yeah.
he's like so cool now, yeah. So we're actually
Yeah.
saved. Mark
He's
Zuckerberg
weird, man.
has Tim's now,
He's
so
another
we're
one of
totally
those
safe.
like I'm assuming you've seen Men in Black where the scene with the guy, like the little alien in the guy's head. Like he seems like Mark Zuckerberg seems like there's an alien inside of his head
Every single one of these
operating.
people, it's their first fucking day on planet Earth. Like I you cannot convince me otherwise. Like I they're just God, I mean, they're just I can't, they're so divorced from reality in a
Yes.
way that is so infuriating, and yet, and again, like jokes aside, like there's just such a level of maliciousness that I think permeates all of this that I just can't begin to stomach. Like it, it's a level, I mean, going back to the earlier conversation of like how easy is it to burn through $6 million? Like these people have more money than they'll ever be able to use in a million lifetimes, like mathematically.
Yep.
And they sit on it like these fucking dragons hoarding wealth, and they don't even look good doing it like a fucking dragon would. And like,
Right.
come
And
on.
yeah, so
And I
much
just,
opportunity to do good things and
it's
zero.
legit. They could, what would be again like buying a coffee for us, they could do world life-changing things.
Yep.
And I just like, I can't I can't wrap my head around, I really struggle to wrap my head around it, of just like even like look Mackenzie Bezos, I think, is such a like good example of what a good PR campaign, quote unquote, like philanthropy is. And I look a bit like kind of side eye her and anyone who's like really quote unquote philanthropic, because I think philanthropy is kind of just like, again, like it's a tax write-off, I think, in a lot of ways, and like not a genuine, like you shouldn't have that much money in the first place in order for you to quote like to fall back on philanthropy as a social
Right.
good. Like I think there's, that's besides the point. But like she gets lauded as this absolute hero by people, by society writ large, and like because she's giving away money. And like I have benefited from the Mackenzie Bezos like grants and stuff. Like I've been at orgs that have gotten her money and have benefited from it. So like, you know, thank you, ma'am. But like it would be so easy for all of these men to be heroes. And that's all they want. All they want is social, like all they want is to be loved. Like Elon Musk wants to be cool so
Yep.
badly. And he can't, he'll never be cool. I mean, he literally is just the antithesis of that in a way that I like can like not even begin to touch. I think he's just such a worm of a person and such a fucking loser. And all of these guys are losers. And we're all suffering because of it. And like I'm just like, give $50 million to like someone who can actually do good with it, and you'll finally be cool. come on. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Now I'm just ranting, but I just,
The never-ending cycle of billionaires being assholes. I mean, it's just it's a true statement. I mean, there's got to be guys out there that are, living in good faith, but you never hear about them. Never.
and I don't think they're billionaires.
Right.
I truly, at my core, do not think you can be a good person and a billionaire. I don't think that those are two possible things. I think they're in complete, like, diametrically opposed to each other. And because again, I don't think people understand, like, $1 billion is so
It's
much
so much
money.
money.
And I think it's become so, like, it's so common in the, like, way in just common discussions and stuff. Like, we talk about billionaires now so, like, constantly, in a way
Yeah.
that people probably talked about millionaires in the 90s or before. Like, I mean, that's probably way too, like, way back, I think when it used to be like, oh, a millionaire is like so rich. It's now a
Right.
billionaire and so on. But like, it is, I feel like even I, like, can't comprehend how much money it is in a way that there's truly no reason anyone should have that much money. And if you have accumulated that much money, if you have allowed that much money, oh, sorry, I just got home. If you've allowed that much money to grow and be in your, like, net worth, you are doing something wrong, because you sure as hell have not done that much, like, enough labor to warrant having that much money. Like, I get to your point from earlier, like, and bringing it back to the Tom Brady of it all, like, even though that's not quite an apt,
Brady.
trying to bring it back around, but like, these men have not gotten to where they have because of their own success and their own merit. They've gotten there, sure, in some part probably because they maybe have a good tech skills or whatever. I don't understand computers and I don't need to, but like, it's because they have, like, stomped on other people and they have used other people and benefited from that. And like, I just, the ways in which people idolize these figures and, like, look upon them in admiration, and like, again, like Elon Musk, like all those Elon Musk bros, I'm just like, what? I do not understand it. Like, I just
I don't
don't.
know. Is it the wealth equates power kind of metric there? Like, I feel like people just
Maybe.
want to be in that position. I'm not sure, and
Yeah.
so they idolize it. But like, to the monetary aspect, this is all made up concepts too. I mean, the
It's
banks don't even
fake.
store nearly this much money in circulation. You know what I mean? Like, it's all stock
Yeah.
options or
Yeah.
things. And
Which, like, I feel like money is one of those things that, like, I am not versed in, and like, am kind of ignorant on, in terms of like how our financial systems work, because I'm like, nah, I just don't care. I'm just not, I will know
it's
what I need to know to survive, but like,
the more I look into it and research, it's all made up predictions and
it's all made up, but
estimations. And
like, I I'm fully, like, again, believing in Santa Claus until I was 13. Like, it's like, okay, so like somewhere there's a bank that has $1 billion in it, and like, I know it's not true, but I can't not think that it's true to a certain extent. And I'm like, there's some bank in the Swiss Alps that has trillions of dollars, and they're all just little coins of money in it. But
it's all the Mexican drug dealers and the cartels. They all got their money stored there, and the dark web entrepreneurs. They all got it stacked. It's
at
all in
least it
cash.
wouldn't be Elon Musk. Oh my God, it ages me. It ages me, which we
All
know
right.
is
Well,
so
let's
bad.
let's talk about something fun before we wrap it up here, because
Yes.
it's been a
Yeah.
depressing last like 30
Yeah.
minutes.
That's what I'm really good at. Is bringing down the
Talking
vibe.
about things we'll never achieve, and people that literally control everything at their fingertips. But on a brighter note, I don't know, what should we talk about that's more more enthusiastic and uplifting than the tech billionaires? I mean, we pretty much got it all, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah. What's a good
I don't know. I
positive?
don't even know what to end on after that. Shit. Um, the snow, I mean, we talked about that for a little bit. It's been fun here. I didn't have to drive into the office the last 2 days, which has been
That's good.
cool.
That's
We love that, but the ice has sucked. Richmond is not equipped. They do not have budgetary value to snow removal and cleaning and salting the streets because, we don't get
100%.
that much, but it's
That
been
is true.
fun. Nature's been naturing. Been loving that. So
That's true. I know,
appreciative.
yeah, we have like 2 feet of snow on the ground up here, and which again was really lovely to like watch come down and stuff. Like I think like I love the snow. I'm very much a winter person. I'm a pale redhead. Like I don't like the sun. But yeah, very harsh reality wake up yesterday afternoon when we had to go shovel out our cars, and it was like legit like the snow piles from the plows was just like 5 feet tall, and it's
Oh yeah.
ice and it's slush and it's disgusting. And yeah, I like almost fully had a mental breakdown. I was like, just maybe I hate the snow. Maybe I actually fucking hate the snow. But it was really beautiful while it lasted, and Sunday was really lovely. Sunday watching the snow come down was really beautiful, and then
Yeah.
Monday was a slap on the face wake up call. But
Oh yeah.
that's all right. And again, all this like the snow, it brought out, I think, a lot of beautiful moments of community. Again, like the mutual aid group I'm in had a really lovely like snow brigade, essentially is what they were calling it, where each neighborhood had a group chat where people could go and like join the WhatsApp or join the Signal and then go to people who requested shoveling assistance. And it turned into a fundraiser for community members who are being like
Oh
affected
yeah.
by ice and stuff, and like all of the violence that's happening, and like raised a lot of money for it, which was really exciting. So I think pros and cons in all of these things. Love the snow, hate the shovel, but also love community and grateful for the moments that kind of have come out of the last 2 days. Feeling
Yeah.
grateful for that.
That needs to be a quote on like a t-shirt. Love the
Love the
snow, hate the
snow,
shovel.
hate the shovel. Yeah.
That cracked me up. Oh my God. I love what for whatever reason that tickled me. That was hilarious. We love
It's
that.
what I live for. It's what I live for.
No, well, fantastic uplifting experience. Be involved in community. There's a lot out there for people to kind of benefit from and also, deliver kindness to other people.
Yeah.
A lot
And
of it
again,
out there.
like we've said throughout this, like the billionaires are not going to save us, and it's we who saves us, and it's community who saves us, and like that's where liberation comes from. And yeah,
Love it.
be nice to your neighbors.
That's right. That's right.
Protect your
Well,
neighbors, I should say. Stand with your neighbors.
yes. Yes. Be a friend, not a foe. Um, any closing comments, remarks, things to look out for next time, maybe potential numbers for book goals in 2026?
uh
175 this year?
oh my God, I wish. No, I always set my goal lower than I think I'm going to do, to like not I get really competitive with myself, and so when I set a goal book wise, I like have to kind of mediate my own ambition, because I will like turn what is my deep love and hobby into something that's like almost this like grind mindset to it, that and become really self-competitive, that I find to be very toxic and like not not the approach I want to have for like something that I just love to do. I don't want to capitalize on this. I don't want to like make this commodify reading, because it is just like it is a true joy. So I set my goal at 130. It'd be great to hit 150 again. That was like a really satisfying number, but also my goal is to read good books and to experience joy while doing so. And if that means I read 20 books, if that means I read 200, that is my goal.
Right. Right.
Right.
Look to the things you find pleasure in. Important to
Yeah.
have hobbies. I find pleasure in doing this, talking to people about what they're passionate about. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what this is about.
Yeah.
A
You
lot of
know,
content is structured. I like the conversational piece of it. Whatever comes
always,
to mind, I think it's important.
always. Yeah. Well, and you know what they say, go birds, fuck ice, free Palestine. That's
The big
what you gotta
three.
say. The big three.
Oh man. Well, really appreciate you taking the time tonight to do this. Of course,
Love you,
again,
baby.
Love you too. 40 episodes apart. I'll see you in a few weeks before this airs,
Yes,
but
yes.
fantastic conversation as
Oh,
always. Next one needs to be
adore.
in the studio,
I
but we'll
cannot.
book
Yes,
something
I
this
absolutely
year.
cannot wait. All right.
Yeah.
Love you so much.
Loved having you.
You
I'll do my little
too.
outro here really quick and then
Oh,
we'll get
yes,
out
sorry,
of here.
sorry, sorry.
So, no, you're totally fine. Appreciate having you on here, of course, as always. Everybody, thanks for listening. 2 hours ish in, maybe a little bit less, depending on how much I have to cut out in the middle. No, joking. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us this long. We're on all your traditional social media platforms. Slantedaddict.com should be available by the time this airs. And you can find us on social medias at Slanted Attic. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on, I don't know, episode 65 or whatever after this. Thanks, everybody.